Azure Drake's a good example of a card that comes back in this kind of matchup, because when you guys are kind of trading back and forth, making sure that you keep that gas rolling can be very important to your curve. And in this matchup also, Shaynex Ramos, very powerful early play. I mean, usually the player who gets the first one of those in play has an advantage, but you have to consider the potential of the ramp as well.
Yeah, Simon Fraser, they pick up an Innervate, but not really anything with it. And we'll see what University of Washington gets back on this mulligan. Oh, it's aggro.
They have swapped over to that aggressive build, that Leper Gnome, very telling of this. And that Druid of the Saber, a great pickup. But here's the thing, Simon Fraser has access to Innervate, Coin, Keeper of the Grove on turn 1. When you see a Leper Gnome, is this the time you want to strike with that card?
But do they want to save the Keeper or the Innervate when they can deal with the Leper Gnome with hero power and take the 3 damage?
That's really the big question. What's having the 2/4 body on board early really mean for your curve? And so when they consider that Knife Juggler oftentimes is found in this build, they may just want to go for Coin and hero power and then try to Innervate Keeper of the Knife Juggler instead. If that's the play you get, a lot of times you can just crack the game open with that sort of play. But the other thing too is that the Keeper of the Grove, this will just contest future minions. I mean, now if University of Washington has Darnassus Aspirant, they get to take care of that as well. And so this kind of takes away a little bit of the overall effect that you might get from Keeper of the Grove, but it protects you from a couple of other things as well. So I actually like they've gone for it and not tried to get too tricky with this play.
But now Simon Fraser needs to pick up something to play. Swipe is not that, so it's just going to be a turn 2 hero power.
Which again, I don't think they're too dissatisfied with. You know, if the Druid of the Saber decides to attack, they still have Keeper of the Grove for it. And they're the ones who are trying to play defense in this spot. So as long as their opponent isn't doing anything super relevant, Simon Fraser's just okay with this. They don't really need to play anything. Once they kind of get past that initial push from the University of Washington, that's really where they have a chance to turn the corner. This deck oftentimes doesn't play Ancient Allure. Oftentimes it doesn't play Dr. Boom or just those super big endgame threats, or, you know, really outside of the combo damage, that big early push, they run out of gas afterwards.
Yeah. This is an awkward turn.
I mean, University of Washington's in the exact same spot. Hero power pass.
Yeah.
They're actually taking more damage in this situation, too. I do like that they're using hero power in the Keeper of the Grove. This will prevent them from having to do this in future turns, and so it buys them just that little bit of time extra. But even here, they're considering taking out the Keeper of the Grove to try to keep the effectiveness of Wrath down. But I think I'd like to see them push.
Okay. They pushed. And what do they pick up? It is a Darnassus Aspirant, so that's... If that sticks, which it most likely will, unless something like an Innervate is picked up here, then...
University of Washington's in a tough spot.
Yeah.
They do take the lead with Pilot Treader, but again, they don't want to be the ones answering minions. They want to be the ones pushing damage. And can you just leave Azure Drake around? That's one of the scariest minions to leave. Wow.
I mean, I think Innervate Ancient of Lore seems pretty good.
This will leave them a little bit more vulnerable to swipe. I mean, this is kind of a spot where University of Washington maybe is okay with this, but again, they're going to be playing defense if they choose to swipe. And it's just not the spot they want to be in.
Yeah, this hand is not the best. Savage Orc could be an option to clear the board as well, but that seems not that great to try and push, or to try and trade with a spell that you normally push with as an aggro deck. And it looks like they are going to have to use the swipe here. Bloodstone Raider's decent. It's above average in stats.
Simon Fraser does drop back down to 5 mana here. So Azure Drake's still available. And I think at this point, if these two minions just trade into the Azure Drake, I think they're totally okay with that.
Yeah.
They could swipe with this board as well, but I feel like this is kind of a trap. Like if they swipe in this spot, suddenly Savage Combatant or second Piloted Shredder may be able to start putting a lot of pressure back on you. So I think Azure Drake, just pick up your card, keep your options open, and really put University of Washington to the test right here. So, and this turn, they're going to have to figure out which direction they want this to take. Are they going to keep trying to fight an attrition battle, or are they going to make that big push?
The Savage Combatant Hero Power allows them to deal with the Azure Drake by trading in the Leper Gnome and just using Hero Power. You can also Keeper trade and develop a Darnassus Aspirin here.
I think it's got to be the Combatant.
Yeah, you need to put that power on the board.
Yep, I think so too. I think you just got to get swinging away. Like if this doesn't stick to the board, I think you're just in bad spot anyway. And so rather than give your opponent the extra time to find an answer, try to force them to have it right now. If they don't have it right now, you're in great shape. If they do, c'est la vie.
Yep. French.
For?
That's life.
Yeah.
It's a popular expression. In France.
Imagine going to France saying it, they're like, typical American. In perfect, normal American accent English. Yeah, University of Washington, the tank is running dry at this point. I think their real last hope is to use Keeper of the Grove, use the Living Roots, and hope that this Savage Roar can pull a ton of weight.
Yeah, I mean, if they flood the board, there's probably not going to be a second swipe in the hand of Simon Fraser this early. But they're out of resources once they use these cards. Completely. Besides that Savage Roar. Gonna need to go a long way.
Yep. It's a long way indeed.
These trees are happy.
Just happy little trees.
Well, Second Force of Nature, not the best pickup.
Here's the thing. If Simon Fraser doesn't take any of this board state, a Savage Roar is 17 points of damage.
Savage Roar plus Hero Power.
Yeah.
Double Savage Roar would be lethal.
What to do?
And so they can play the Emperor Thaurissan and threaten lethal their own next turn, which is what it looks like they're going to do. But there is a risk to this. I mean, University of Washington now does have cards that can end the game in their deck.
Wow.
Druid of the Claw is one of them.
Oh my goodness.
University of Washington's aggression goes unchecked for a single turn from Simon Fraser, and they end the game. That's the power of these aggressive builds.
Oh no.
And so the first time in this tournament, Simon Fraser is going to lose a match, and University of Washington cements themselves a 6-0 record.
And what a cool story from those guys. 3 freshmen, you know, they attended high school together. Like you said, all went to University of Washington. Decided to enter the Hearthstone tournament, and now they're 6-0.